Welcome, everybody. Good evening. I now call to order our regular scheduled Board of Commissioners meeting scheduled for tonight, Monday, May 6th. We have first items of business are our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance. I've asked Mark Finn, who is the senior pastor at Evangel Church here in Fuquay-Varina, to lead us in invocation here tonight. He's also a member of the planning committee for the National Day of Prayer that was held recently this past Friday. So Mark, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for willing to do our invocation. Followed by Mark, we will have our Pledge of Allegiance, and I've asked our 2023-2024 Fuquay-Varina Team Council to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance tonight. If you all will please stand.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, may you generously give to each person tonight wise and discerning hearts to skillfully govern the people of this city. Give the mayor, city leaders, staff, and city council wisdom so that they may solve problems, distinguish between right and wrong, bring order, stability, and prosperity to this community. Lord, your word says, above all things, you wish that we would prosper and be in good health, even as our soul prospers. I thank you for what you're doing tonight and what you're going to do. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you both for your help tonight. Our first item of business is the approval of the minutes from the April 2nd, 2024 Town Board of Commissioners regular scheduled meeting. Any changes or additions to the minutes? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 2nd, 2024 Town Board of Commissioners regularly scheduled meeting as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. At this time, I'll ask Town Manager Mitchell to review the meeting protocol for public participation as it relates to this meeting. Adam, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, board members. It's good to be with you tonight. Tonight's town board meeting is both in person and live streamed on the town's YouTube channel and Facebook page. Tonight's meeting contains a public comment period and 3 scheduled public hearings. The public is invited to comment in person. When it is the appropriate time, Mayor Massengill will call on all those wishing to address the town board. All attendees that have appeared in person to address the town board during the public comment period should provide your name and address on the green registration sheet by the podium prior to the public comment period beginning. All attendees that have appeared in person to address the town board during a scheduled public hearing should provide your name and address on the white registration sheet by the podium. We ask all those wishing to address the town board, either during the public comment period or a scheduled public hearing, to begin their comments by clearly stating their name and address for the public record. The public is asked to keep all comments to 3 minutes so that all that wish to speak can be heard in a timely manner. To be respectful of those that may have different views on matters addressed by the town board, we ask that all in attendance respect the decorum of the meeting by refraining from clapping, making loud noises, and generally showing support or displeasure for comments made during the public comment period and public hearing. This does not include recognitions by the mayor and board this evening. Police Chief Medina will be asked to escort from the boardroom anyone not respecting the process, and it is the discretion of the mayor as presiding officer of this meeting to continue the public comment period or public hearing periods if the meeting protocol is not followed. This concludes the protocol for tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Adam. First presentation of tonight is item 4A, Willow Spring High School Varsity and JV Cheer Squad. And this will be a group that we will be clapping and cheering for tonight. So I'd like to first recognize the Willow Spring High School JV and Varsity cheerleading team. This team is led by Coach Blair Wilkes, who has done an incredible job with these young ladies in this room tonight. We have, this is the first state championship that Willow Spring High School has won. And Willow Spring High School is one of the two high schools that is directly serves Fuquay-Varina citizens. And so we're glad to recognize them here tonight. Anytime we can recognize state champions, and to be the first state champion of your school is pretty neat right there. We first had the North Carolina High School Athletic Association that the JV squad won state champions on. It's a squad of 14 young ladies that are state champions. And then we also had the North Carolina Cheer Coaches Association state championship for the varsity team, which is 17 young ladies here tonight that have won that. And so I wanted to host y'all at our board meeting tonight and congratulate y'all and say that's something that we're very, very proud of here in Fuquay-Varina that you've done. I'd like for these Storm ladies, if y'all would, come up here and shake everybody's hand, and we'd love to take a picture with you too.
Congratulations. 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 Good job. Congratulations. 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 Good job. Congratulations. Good job. Congratulations. 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 Good job. Congratulations. Good job. Congratulations. 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 Good job. Congratulations, ladies. Next item on our agenda tonight is item 4B, recognition of the Fuquay-Varina Teen Council and the state charter approval. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Recreation Program Specialist Poole. Leslie?
Good evening. Thank you so much for having us back. We're really excited to give you guys a short presentation about what we did at our Spring Youth Conference for the State Youth Conference. All right. So this year's spring conference for State Youth Council was held by Lake Norman Teen Council. This conference is the last conference of the year and is in time for presentations of yearly service projects. It's also a time to wrap up and hold elections for the State Youth Council Executive Board. And then it's also a time to give out awards such as Service Member of the Year, Most Active Teen Council, and then they also celebrate seniors who are graduating, and then finally, it's an opportunity for councils to get chartered.
So Friday night when we got there, we did some team building exercises at Jetton Park. This started off with an ice cream social, which we all thoroughly enjoyed. Then our teen council executive board members were split up into groups with other council members from across the state, where they did group discussions and team building exercises. And like Ms. Leslie said, they got to see State Youth Council Executive Board elections, as well as yearly projects like from the Raleigh Youth Council and the Lake Norman Youth Council, along with presentations. And then they just spent the night getting to know the other members of the other councils.
So on Saturday, they actually got an opportunity to go to the Whitewater Center. So in the Friday evening, they got separated into challenge groups. So they wanted an opportunity for the councils to separate and meet other groups and other councils from all over the state. So they participated in activities like whitewater rafting, rock climbing. There was even a 100-foot hawk jump, and then high ropes obstacle courses. And then that evening, we got to spend time at Cornelius Town Hall for a presentation by Huntersville Mayor Christy Clark, who was our keynote speaker. And then this was also an opportunity for a few of the State Youth Council awards and the senior farewell.
And then Sunday was the closing ceremonies. This is when our executive board actually got the opportunity to present. And they did a presentation, the same one that you guys saw back in February. And then we were voted in to become the 24th chartered member of the State Youth Council. Ms. Leslie and I are very, very proud of the job they did. We were like proud moms. They did such a great job. And then they also got to see the service project of the year. And like Ms. Leslie said, they recognized the senior graduates from all the youth councils across the state. So now moving forward that we're a chartered state youth council, we get to attend other conferences throughout the year. So we're really looking forward to attending the team building conference, which is usually around February, where youth council members get the opportunity to really build leadership skills, communication skills, and just become all around a better member of their community. So we're very excited, and we thank you guys for this opportunity.
And we also have our official chartered letter to present, and would love to get a photo with all of you.
First of all, Leslie, let me tell you and your team right here, because y'all are a team, this council right here. Team, not Tina, but that too. Thank you for all of y'all done for your hard work right here and taking the time. Not only are you involved here in Fuquay-Varina by giving back to our community and helping a direction with Parks and Rec here in our community, but you're traveling across the state to learn from other communities on things that y'all can bring back to Fuquay-Varina. And so that means a lot right here. And it's a great night because we have a lot of teenagers in the room, so it's a great night. You can recruit more people to your teen council right here in Fuquay-Varina. And, I think it'd be great for Fuquay-Varina to be able to host the statewide teen council one day. I'm sure that's something on your radar too, to be able to do. So thank you too, and thank you the entire teen council for their hard work right here, y'all. Congratulations.
This is for Rose, and then I need your signature on that, and then I need you to sign it.
And I'm in your way, just give me a second, I'll get out, how's that? And we will post this on Facebook.
We're gonna steal yours.
Yeah, well, I doubt that's sincere. Okay.
You gotta come up in front.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Shorty
doesn't have,
pants,
there you
so
go.
just get in front. Okay, Miss Marilyn.
Excuse me.
Okay, can everybody smile?
Our next presentation tonight is item 4C. And this is a proclamation for National Public Service Recognition Week, which is May 5th through May 11th of this year. There'll be activities throughout this week recognizing our town employees that are in the public service sector. A few neat facts for those of y'all in the room. Fuquay-Varina's citizens are 93% satisfied with the services that that a town provides them. And those services are done through our incredible public service team of employees here in Fuquay-Varina. And so this is a week that we get to recognize those employees for continuing to do such a great job of service within our community. And sometimes you may have a variety of different ways that you run into a town employee here in Fuquay-Varina, whether it is with the Parks and Rec that we just saw a few minutes ago, our police department, our fire department, our public works department, which consists of trash, streets, sanitation, our water and sewer department, engineering, planning, inspections, economic development, communications, HR, finance, and looking at each of y'all as I think about y'all, and everybody in a different way interacts with them. And so I'm just very, very proud, and the entire board is proud of all of our town staff, because to be able to achieve a 93% customer satisfaction, our customers are our citizens in Fuquay-Varina, and so I'm very proud. And I want to read this proclamation. Whereas the residents of Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina, rely on the dedicated service of public employees from various levels of government on a daily basis. And whereas the skilled public employees of Fuquay-Varina work diligently to ensure the smooth functioning of municipal services and the effective utilization of public resources. And whereas, despite facing challenging circumstances, our public employees remain unsung heroes, tirelessly working to safeguard and enhance the quality of life for residents, businesses, and visitors alike. And whereas the public servants of Fuquay-Varina are committed to upholding the highest standards of professionalism, creativity, expertise, and customer service. And whereas Public Service Recognition Week has been celebrated annually during the first week of May since 1985, honoring the dedication and contributions of government employees at all levels. Now therefore, I, Blake Massengill, Mayor of Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim May 5th through 11th, 2024 as Public Service Recognition Week. I urge all citizens to acknowledge and appreciate the remarkable achievements and contributions of government employees at every level, federal, state, and local. Thank y'all for your hard work. Everybody, please give them a round of applause. Our next item on our agenda is presentation 4D, and this is a proclamation for National Police Week. National Police Week is May 12th through 18th. Our Fuquay-Varina Police Department does an incredible job here helping to keep our citizens safe in Fuquay-Varina, and they do an excellent job right there. In recent satisfaction surveys of our town, Fuquay-Varina citizens feel that Fuquay-Varina is an extremely safe place to live in. And so that means a lot right here. Today, the Fuquay-Varina Police Department had a fundraiser for Special Olympics. And Fuquay-Varina Police Department raised a record amount of money last year. I know, Chief, y'all are well on the way to breaking that record this year and having another record year. And so that is something that the department does to give back to one of many ways to give back to organizations right there with Special Olympics, and y'all really embraced that and done a great job here in Fuquay-Varina. So, Chief, your entire department, thank y'all for what y'all have done with that too. But I'm proud of y'all for keeping everybody safe in Fuquay-Varina. I have a proclamation I want to make for National Police Week. Whereas National Police Week is observed every May to honor the service and sacrifices of those law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. And whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the 70 sworn Fuquay-Varina officers serving our town. And whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, 26,581 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and lost their lives in the line of duty. And whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C. And whereas this year, the names of 282 officers who died in the line of duty will be engraved on the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial. Of those officers, 118 died in 2023, a 49% reduction in duty deaths compared to 2022. The other 164 officers died in years prior to 2023. And whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the 36th Annual Candlelight Vigil held on the National Mall at 8 p.m. on May 13th, 2024. And whereas the courageous men and women of the Fuquay-Varina Police Department dedicate their lives to protecting our town, working daily to enforce our laws with a hope but uncertainty of returning home safely each day to their loved ones. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Blake Massengill, Mayor of the town of Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim May 12th through 18th, 2024 as National Police Week in the town of Fuquay-Varina, and publicly salute the service of law enforcement officers in our community and all communities across the town. Let's give our police department a round of applause. There's some things I get to do as mayor, and there's some things that I am allowed to do as mayor. And one of the things that I am allowed to do by mayor is that by being mayor is that the police department extends me an invitation and allows me to swear in their police officers, and that's something I take very seriously. I very much appreciate that, Chief. Thank you for allowing me to do that. Item 4E is presentation of our fiscal year 25 operating budget and 5-year operating and capital plan. More information about the agenda item will be presented by Town Manager Mitchell. Adam?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, board members. I do not have a 4.5-hour presentation as we did at our budget workshop, but I do have a few items just to review over with you this evening as it relates to the presentation of the fiscal year 25 operating budget and 5-year operating and capital plan. The purpose of this agenda item is for the board to receive a presentation from me as your manager on the fiscal year recommended budget and consider scheduling a public hearing for May 21st of this year. In a moment, I'm going to review a presentation as well as show you and the public a brief video that highlights the specifics of the fiscal year 25 budget. This is consistent with how we presented the budget to the public last year as well. On April 22nd of this year, the town's governing board received a presentation regarding the preliminary draft proposed fiscal year 25 budget. A balanced budget and 5-year operating and capital plan were presented, along with the identified human resource needs, facilities, and capital equipment to maintain and in some cases improve service levels as the addition of customers and town infrastructure has increased workload demands on staff. My recommended budget reflects one change of note since the budget work session presentation, which is the inclusion of all of the proposed property tax rate options that were discussed and presented at the work session for a total proposed property tax rate of 36.8 cents per $100 of assessed value. In addition to receiving an abbreviated presentation of the recommended budget this evening, the town board will be asked to take action to schedule a budget public hearing for May 21st as required by North Carolina General Statute. Along with the pre-budget public hearing that the town traditionally holds during the month of February, the opportunity for pre-budget public input was provided on the Let's Talk Fuquay-Varina community engagement platform. This opportunity will continue through May 22nd. Public input was taken into consideration in the development of the fiscal year 25 budget. My recommendation is to schedule a budget public hearing for May 21st as required by North Carolina statute. During this budget public hearing, the public will have the opportunity to offer input and feedback prior to budget adoption. Between May 6th and May 22nd, the public will have the opportunity to review the budget on the town's website as well as offer any input and or feedback. The proposed budget totals in the general fund $78,531,188. The recommended budget proposes a property tax rate option of 36.8 cents for every $100 in value. This includes a planned 2-cent property tax rate to offset the debt service expense related to the 2021 transportation bond approved by the voters. This bond referendum information that was shared with the voters prior to their vote of approval stated that the anticipated cost could require up to a 3.5 cent adjustment to the tax rate. However, due to property revaluation increases in assessed values and natural growth, only a 2 cent increase is necessary. The budget also includes a 1 cent property tax rate option to offset the debt service expense related to the expansion of our public service center, a 1 cent property tax rate option to offset the debt service expense related to the acquisition of land for recreation fields and facilities to address the surging demand in parks and recreation programs, and a 1 cent property tax rate option to support annual capital improvement and enhancement opportunities in Fuquay-Varina. The proposed budget also includes a change in solid waste fees from $21 to $23 per month to achieve cost recovery for sanitation, recycling, and debris collection services. The full fee schedule was provided in your agenda materials and will be provided to the public following this meeting. The utility fee schedule proposes several changes, including a 15% increase in water and sewer base and volumetric rates, consistent with the updated rate model study that was completed this fiscal year to generate the additional revenue needed to cover the cost of water supply, wastewater treatment, and debt service associated with major public utility infrastructure investments over the next 5 years. The proposed budget also recommends increasing the water system development fee and sewer system development fee based on a system development fee study completed in fiscal year 24 to assist in supporting the expansion of water and wastewater infrastructure. The system development fee recommendations will be revisited after final bids for the Sanford Water Treatment Facility expansion are opened earlier this month, and an updated system development fee analysis report will be posted mid-May. A public hearing will be scheduled with a goal of adopting final recommendations in July of this year. The full fee schedule related to public utilities is also provided with greater detail and will be provided to the public after this meeting. The 5-year operating and capital plan is balanced. The 5-year plan does not identify the need for any additional tax rate increases beyond fiscal year 25. The 5-year plan does anticipate the need for water and sewer volumetric rate increases every year to offset the anticipated supplier increase and to cover the debt service required for additional water and wastewater capacity for system users. This is consistent with our utility rate model. This plan includes the addition of personnel, capital equipment, and capital projects to match the pace of growth and is consistent with the direction set by the town board at the strategic planning retreat and the town's 21 through 2025 strategic plan. The 5-year plan also takes into consideration recommendations from various town master plans and studies. And so before getting to the board being asked to consider making the motion to schedule the public hearing, I'd like to turn it over to our IT director to load up a brief video that explains in greater detail the exciting opportunities that come with the fiscal year 25 budget. Scott?
Welcome to a glimpse into our future, a future full of promise. As we unveil our plans for the town manager's recommended fiscal year 2025 budget, we're embarking on a journey of growth, community, and innovation. Together, we're paving the way for a brighter tomorrow.
How do we craft a budget that mirrors our collective aspirations? It's through your voice. Public hearings, workshops, personal interactions, these are all opportunities to help shape our shared vision.
In addition to maintaining exceptional customer service, the fiscal year 25 proposed general fund budget is about investments that will shape the future of our town and secure prosperity for generations to come. This year, we're forging connections with several transportation projects, investing in our community's mobility and safety. Projects like South Judd and South Main are underway, and Highway 401 in Mill Creek, also known as the Gold Leaf Crossing Gateway, is advancing, marking significant milestones in our community's infrastructure development. We are also investing more to maintain existing road infrastructure. Our efforts are focused on a comprehensive transportation plan to keep our citizens moving forward.
As a member of this community, I'm excited to see these road projects begin. It's inspiring to see plans unfold and tangible changes begin to take shape.
Enhancing our community's mobility extends beyond just roads. In fiscal year 2025, we're excited to introduce a variety of pedestrian and greenway projects aimed at boosting walkability and overall accessibility. To enhance safety, we're proposing the installation of flashing beacons at 6 pivotal crosswalks across the town.
Town commissioners are exploring a property tax rate that reflects delivering necessary resources, transportation improvements approved by the voters in 2021, and new initiatives that add value to service delivery and quality of life. In doing so, management has been directed to develop a budget that considers a moderate increase to the revenue-neutral property tax rate.
To make our funds go further, the Federal Highway Administration has awarded the town a $981,500 grant for improvements at the old Honeycutt and Kennebec Road intersection near Willow Spring High School, covering up to 60% of the project cost. And with a $400,000 boost from the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, we're set to revolutionize our stormwater management, ensuring resilience for years to come. Our water is our life. That's why we're embarking on an expansion of the Sanford Water Filtration Facility and related conveyance line projects, with over $100 million budgeted over the past 2 years, an investment fueling our future. Design should be complete this fall on a new elevated storage tank, and plans are being finalized for expansion at both Terrible Creek and Harnett wastewater treatment plants, ensuring the town's wastewater capacity well into the future. To fund the future debt service for these projects, utility customers will experience an increase in base and volumetric rates. Developers will also see a system development fee increase in the recommended budget. Spreading the cost between all customers, users, and developers is important.
These initiatives are a commitment to a future where sustainability is at the forefront. By focusing on these projects right now, we are creating a healthier and more resilient future for all.
Our employees are our greatest asset. Through competitive market analysis and enhanced benefits, we're not just attracting talent, we're nurturing a community of dedicated public servants. The budget allocates funds for additional positions in public works, public safety, and parks and recreation, as well as funding for the design of the Public Service Center expansion and the study of expanding police facilities, all crucial to supporting our growing staff. Quality of life, it's what makes a town a home. The town will make investments in parks and facilities to enhance user experiences, from improved ball fields to upgraded parking lots and enhanced safety measures for leisure activities. This year's budget proposes a unique play concept at Library Park in the heart of downtown.
You know, having all these amenities at our parks and rec centers are really a big deal to my family.
And it's exciting to see the children dive in and embrace everything our community spaces have to offer.
The new community center will open in early 2025, with 3 gyms, an indoor walking track, 2 racquetball courts, and an active adult wing.
It sounds like the Community Center North is going to have a little bit of everything for everyone.
Safety is a priority and a promise. With our fire department poised to improve its ISO rating and our police department on the path to CALIA accreditation, we're committed to a community where safety and peace of mind are a way of life.
Economic vitality is a cornerstone of our future. As we roll out our new economic development strategy plan, we're not just focused on growth, but cultivating a dynamic community that thrives on innovation.
The budget proposes a substantial investment in downtown on the heels of the Downtown Generational Plan and town's goals of redevelopment along Main Street.
As we look ahead, our journey is illuminated by the collective spark of our ambitions, dreams,
and the unwavering spirit of our community.
Together, we're not just dreaming of a future full of promise.
We're building it, one visionary project at a time.
Join us as we step into a future where every possibility is within our reach.
Thank you for being part of this journey.
So Mayor and board members, you can see that the theme of our budget for fiscal year 25 is a future full of promise. I'm happy to answer any questions that the town board may have. Again, my recommendation to you this evening is by motion to schedule a public hearing on the town of Fuquay-Varina fiscal year 25 budget for May 21st of this year, 2024. And Mr. Mayor, I'd also be remiss if I did not recognize briefly our finance department team, our finance director, Joanne Crabtree, our assistant finance director, Nicole Stevens, our budget manager, like I choose to call her, Katie Lum, our management team, including Jim Seymour, Mark Matthews, and all of our department directors that help to assist in the development of this budget, and to you, our town board members, for setting tone and vision beginning at our strategic planning retreat.
Thank you, Manager. A few things I want you to expand on, some more information. I know we had a long budget workshop here, public meeting a couple weeks, or maybe about a month ago now. First here, speak about some of these proposed areas of increased investment from a tax standpoint.
Sure. So the budget tax rate of 36.8 cents includes a 2 cent property tax rate affiliated or associated with the 2021 transportation bond referendum that was approved by the voters. That 2 cents will pay for the debt service on the variety of transportation improvements that were identified in the budget video, and that the town has worked hard to advance through design, right-of-way, and permitting. And so those projects are already in motion. This has been a tax rate that has been planned for over 3 years now. So it's now come to the time to implement that so that the debt service can be paid. In addition to that, there's 3 1-cent property tax rate options for the town board to consider. If the town board were to consider approving all 3, it would take the property tax rate to 36.8 cents, which is 5 cents above revenue neutral after the property tax rate revaluation. The first of the 3 cents would pay for debt service associated with the much-needed expansion of our public service center. Our public service center, built in 2016, houses our Parks and Recreation Maintenance Department, our Public Utilities, Water and Wastewater Services Department, and our Public Works, which includes sanitation, yard debris, streets, street maintenance. We have grown substantially as a community, and we've grown substantially as a workforce since 2016. There are plans in the 5-year plan to continue growing over the next 5 years from the standpoint of our workforce, as we expect our community to continue to grow. The facility simply just will not accommodate that future growth without expansion. It's always been a planned expansion. When we purchased the property and designed the facility, master planned the facility, the intent was to always expand that facility as the town growth necessitated. So 1 penny of that 3 additional 1 cent property tax rate options would go towards servicing the debt to borrow the funds to expand that facility. Second of the 3 is to begin planning, frankly, for our future with respect to parks, recreation, quality of life for youth and adults alike. We've done a lot of that over the last few years with enhancements to our town parks, with the construction, frankly, of the community center project on Hilltop Needmore Road. But our community continues to have upside and growth potential. It's anticipated that our population will continue to grow and expand, new families, and just generally the population in a whole will continue to expand as new homes, new residences are being built here in our community. Those citizens will be looking for, as the ones before them have been, opportunities for participation in parks and recreation programs. That includes youth sports and adult sports and activities. We simply do not have the facilities to keep up with that pace of growth. We will not have the facilities to keep up with that pace of growth in the future. And we will be faced with the challenge of capping programs and turning citizens away from being able to participate in our very popular and growing athletic programs. What this 1 penny would allow us to do is go out and acquire property. Property is becoming less and less available because of development. A good problem to have, but a problem nonetheless. And it's not getting any less expensive. And so it would allow us to go ahead and identify a site and secure that site for a future district or regional park in our community. That would be the home of play fields, both ball fields for baseball, softball, soccer, and potentially even an indoor sports complex that could service the future needs of our community. And so the 1 penny would not be for the development and the construction of that park. It would be simply to go ahead and identify and secure the property so that we would have the opportunity to develop that park in the future. Okay? And then the third penny was proposed to make enhancements to our community. And there was a menu of projects and enhancements that we talked about at our town board strategic planning retreat and at our budget workshop. An example of that would be the improvements or the betterment improvements at Library Park. It's estimated to be able to provide that improvement. We would need to invest about $1 million or a little more than $1 million to be able to make that enhancement and that improvement to our downtown and to our parks network. And that extra penny would generate about $1,022,000 a year. That's what 1 penny generates on a tax rate, and would allow us the opportunity to do that. I would say that third penny, however, falls into the category more of wants than needs. I would say the first 2 pennies that I've described to you, I would argue, are more of a need for our community. We need to expand our public service center, and I would argue that we need to begin investing in land for the future of our park and recreation offerings to the community. The third penny, I think, enhances our town. It accomplishes some things that, as a board, we discussed that we'd like to accomplish, but I do think it falls probably more squarely into the want category than the need category. And so I would make that statement to you as the town board sort of debates on how you wish to sort of proceed forward with the property tax. I do think that because of timing, the way timing factors in to when revenue comes in and when debt service comes on for those first 2 initiatives, I think if the town board were to not desire to go the full 5 cents, but maybe do something less than the full 5 cents, for example. I think because of the way the timing would work out with when revenue would be generated and when debt service would be expected, there is the potential that we could complete 1 or 2, maybe even of those want projects without having to have that 5th penny on the tax rate. We wouldn't be able to do the entire menu of enhancements and improvements. Those things would have to be phased over time, and perhaps even some of those delayed. And we would know more about that as we transpired and moved through our 5-year plan. But at least on the front end, we may be able to still accomplish, for example, the enhancement to Library Park without necessarily needing that 5th penny because of when the revenue would come in from the other 2 pennies versus when the debt service would be required. So timing does factor into that. Did I answer your question, Mayor?
You did, and I'm glad you said needs versus wants, because I do think that's an important time that we're trying to focus on budgets right now. Everybody, we all have, as we talked about at our workshop, we all have our needs and we have our wants, and I think it's important with where the economy and things are today that we're focused on our needs right there. Our public service center continues to be a area that I brag often, as I said earlier tonight, on the quality of service our citizens are provided, and that's because we got to have facilities to work out of to be able to house the equipment and to be able to give this A+ service right there. And so I do believe the public service expansion building is a justified means right there. And, parks and rec facilities, as we grow our parks and rec programming, we are nearly capped. And some sports we are capped in other areas we're nearly capped in. And land goes up in price every single day. And I hear often from our citizens is that they like to see preservation of land and green space in areas like that, in which parks are the easiest way that a town can have green space in regards to that. Land's our greatest asset, and from green space and trees, and I know from several other towns, mayors discussed them buying land. They wish they had bought it earlier before the towns got to the size that they were. So it simply just cost more money at that time. So I do think that's a good cause right there. As we're talking about this whole funding of everything together, I go back to needs versus wants. In the last workshop, we spent a lot of time discussing the Hilltop New Moretown Park and Preserve trails over there. And what I asked Adam to bring back to the board on follow-up conversations is, okay, you just mentioned some areas that are damaged, some areas that need repair, and some areas that were dangerous. And I think the original plan was to replace the plan that's been presented is to replace everything. Is there any meat in the middle in that area? If we're trying to find ways to save some money, can those trails be repaired, used in an excellent condition for less than demoing and tearing out everything out there? Because I've spent a lot of time out there since our last budget, and a lot of these trails are in good shape. There are areas that need repair. What kind of hybrid version of that can you share with me?
Yeah, we did. We went back at the request after the last budget workshop, and we evaluated that, myself, along with Assistant Manager Matthews, Parks and Rec Director Cox, and Engineering Director Poling, and we evaluated the worst of the worst conditions and what are those areas and how does that shape up with the larger project. And I would say that in that evaluation, without getting to the tenth, down to the hundredths of the tenths in terms of percentages, on a rough scale, 90% of those trails that exist out there are safe functioning trails. It's about 10% that is in the worst of worst condition, with root intrusion, buckled asphalt, or in some cases missing asphalt completely from where it was torn out when Wake County had to do some property line adjustments when they bought the property originally for the park. I still maintain and contend that that 10% needs to be addressed. I think it's an expectation that we provide safe, walkable trails that are free of hazard and risk of having a safety issue. That 10% needs to be addressed. It needs to be cut out. It needs to be filled. It needs to be replaced. That includes the area that Wake County tore out. The remaining 90% to provide a consistent look. That's really what it's doing. It provides a consistent look throughout our trail network. It comes at admittedly, it comes at a hefty price. It really comes down to what you wish for it to look like. I do not believe if you want to categorize want versus need and frame it that way, I do not believe that 90% is a need. Just looking at it from a safety and functionality standpoint, the appearance would be more of a want in the want category than a need. We evaluated the breakdown of cost. If you'll recall, to do the entire thing, fix the areas that are in the worst shapes, and provide a consistent uniform look, it was going to cost about $1.5 million. Simply to address just the 10%, rough 10%, that needs addressing, the worst of the worst, and we've documented that with pictures, it's going to cost about $440,000. So if the town board wished to do that, which I would recommend highly that we do, but not do the portion of it that's more of a want than a need, we can save close to $1.1 million by not doing that. And frankly, over time, that asphalt color and appearance will blend in anyway over time as time goes by. So I would say that if the board is looking for a middle ground and an opportunity to save some resources, there is an opportunity there. I would say that we need to program the $440,000, but it's not a necessity to program the other $1.1 million.
I think that, to me, is a good compromise there. You're making the facility safe. We're addressing areas that's going to last a while longer. Essentially, black paint is what we're talking about for an extra $1.1 million.
Skim coat, that's
we're
right.
talking about wants versus needs. To me, that's a good way to address a concern in regards to that. Any other board member comments, questions for management or anybody? So I think what management's looking for.
I appreciate you coming back with a kind of a middle ground on that. I think that's what was that? The $1.1 million
we just saved.
I mean, I think that makes sense to me. I appreciate you putting the effort into give us a different option.
Yes, sir. And I would say, in an ideal world, you know, we have, money's not an issue. We're able to do all the things on the needs and want list. But I would say that if the town board wishes to take an approach that we address our needs, and we slowly begin to make progress on the things that would be nice to have, enhancements to the community, but aren't necessary necessities in these certain economic conditions, I would say to you that you achieve that by doing the 4-cent option, the 2 for transportation, the 1 for public service center expansion, the 1 for park land, and then adjustments be made to the budget to do the critical areas of the trails. And I do think because of a timing standpoint, we might be able to even accomplish without an additional penny some of those downtown enhancement projects that you've identified as wanting to do. And so I think there is a path to addressing the needs, but also getting some of the other initiatives accomplished as well with that 4-cent option. So as you're thinking about the budget between now and the public hearing, and even between now and adoption on June 3rd, those are some thoughts to take away with you this evening.
So you don't need any kind of direction on specifically when path night. We'll wait and do that at the public hearing. You just want simply the board to give you a motion to have a public hearing.
That's right, and you really don't even have to give direction on the path at the public hearing. Where the rubber hits the road is June 3rd. You would have to adopt a budget that gives management the direction on where you wish to set the property tax rate. And we've got the plan, the menu of plan laid out, so it's either 33.8, which is the base, that's revenue neutral plus the 2 cents for transportation, 34.8, 35.8, or 36.8. And you've got the options laid out all in between.
Mr. Mayor, I will say, just while we're at the League of Municipalities, 2 weeks ago, everybody around us is raising taxes, and many of them are doing almost double to close to triple the amount that we're discussing tonight, which is interesting, especially ones in Wake County as well, but just all over the state. Everybody is around that 5 to 10 cent increase straight across the state of North Carolina.
That's some time.
Yeah.
We have a motion to schedule a public hearing if there's no further questions from management tonight.
Mayor Massingill, I move that we schedule a public hearing on the town of Fuquay-Varina fiscal year 2025 budget for May 21st, 2024.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, management, for the presentation.
Thank you. And Mr. Mayor, we will be publishing the proposed budget, fee schedule, budget ordinance fee schedule, and budget video on our website beginning tomorrow morning.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, next item on our agenda is the public comment period. At this time, the deputy town clerk will call on individuals that are in attendance and have registered to address the town board prior to the meeting. The public comment period is a time for the public to address the town board about any matter that is not the subject of a scheduled public hearing. Those speaking are asked to begin by clearly saying your name and address for the public record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes in order that all who wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. Tracy, do we have anybody signed up?
We have no one.
Okay, nobody signed up for public comment period. There are no items tabled from previous meetings for the May 6th meeting tonight. Public hearings are a time for the petitioner to present his or her request and for the public to give input and voice their favor or opposition to the request. If you wish to speak and are physically in attendance, please step forward to the podium one at a time. Provide your name and address on the registration log at the podium and clearly state your name and address for the public record. We ask all those addressing the town board to please limit your comments to 3 minutes in order that all who wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. First public hearing, item 7A, zoning map amendment and land use plan amendment, town of Fuquay-Varina, 303 Branch Street and a portion of 302 Holland Glen Street, REZ 2024-03. More information about the agenda item will be presented by Planning Director Davison. Pam, good evening.
Good evening. I'm submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official record of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider a requested zoning map amendment for a total of .378 acres located at 303 Branch Street and a portion of 302 Holland Glen Street from the residential medium density and residential high density zoning districts to the office and institutional zoning district and corresponding land use plan amendment from the town center residential classification to the civic and institutional classification. The petitioner has proposed a land use plan amendment for the TCR classifications to the civic and institutional classifications as it is compatible with the proposed zoning and the proposed sale and future use of the properties. The requested zoning district supports infill development, reinvestment in downtown, and the rezoning will facilitate the retention and expansion of an existing established business. At the April 15th, 2024 regular meeting, the Planning Board voted unanimously to recommend approval. The suggested motion this evening is to approve REZ 2024-03, a zoning map amendment for 303 Branch Street and a portion of 302 Holland Glen Street from the residential medium density and residential high density zoning districts to the office and institutional zoning district and corresponding land use plan amendment from the town center residential classification to the civic and institutional classification as it is reasonable and in the best interest of the public for the reasons identified by management and staff. I'm available to answer any questions.
I think we're ready for the public hearing. Thank you, Director Davison. The hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the zoning map amendment and land use plan amendment? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the zoning map amendment and land use plan amendment? Hearing is now closed. Any discussion by the board? Not, what's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Mayor, so moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, 7B, public hearing, zoning map amendment, Pulte Home Company LLC, 5301-54410, and a portion of 5328 Wade Nash Road, REZ 2023-11. More information, agenda item will be presented by Plan Director Davison.
Thank
Pam,
you.
you're on the spot tonight.
I'm submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official records of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider a requested zoning map amendment for a total of 74.8 acres located at 5301, 5441, 0, and a portion of 5328 Wade Nash Road from the residential agricultural zoning district to the planned unit development zoning district. As required, I'm going to zip to this. For planned unit development, a master plan has been included. The maximum allowed density in the PUD zoning district is 6 dwelling units per acre, and the maximum density proposed is 2.83 dwelling units per acre, for a total of 212 combined single-family detached and townhome lots. 25% or 18.7 acres of open space is required, and 47% or 35.73 acres is proposed. 5% or 3.74 acres of activated common green are both required and proposed that will incorporate amenities including walking trails, boardwalks, a dog park, natural trails, a nature play area, a picnic shelter, benches, and exercise stations. The development will also provide an amenity center with a pool and cabana. The master plan commits to enhance perimeter landscape buffers showing 50, 70, and 100-foot type A buffers along the development perimeter. Undisturbed buffer areas are proposed along the east, west, and southern perimeter, preserving and supplementing existing vegetation to meet the buffer requirements. Additional facade standards have been included to provide a variety of facade elements and prevent monotony. At the April 15th regular Planning Board meeting, the Planning Board voted unanimously to recommend approval. The suggested motion tonight is to approve REZ 2023-11, a zoning map amendment for 5301, 5441, 0, and a portion of 5328 Wade Nash Road from the residential agricultural zoning district to the planned unit development PUD zoning district, as it is reasonable and in the best interest of the public for the reasons identified by management and staff. I am available to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments yet? We're ready for public hearing. Thank you, Director Davison. The hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the zoning map amendment? Come forward.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the board. I'm Mark Frederick with Parker Poe, Adams and Bernstein at 301 Fayetteville Street in Raleigh. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Pulte Homes. We do have the nearly the entire development team here. That includes Kelly Race with Pulte Homes, Susie Russell and Nick Antrilli with Withers Ravenel, and Andrew Top, our transportation engineer with VHB. The purpose of this rezoning is to allow residential community with a mix of product types and a comprehensive network of open space. And I'd like to briefly discuss a few highlights of the project that might not be apparent in the agenda abstract. So we have worked with staff over the past few months to refine the layout of the project, and what you see tonight is what we believe is the best project for this site. The layout includes a total of 212 residential lots with a mix of single-family detached and townhomes on the western portion of the site and single-family detached homes on the eastern portion of the site. This is consistent with the town's land use plan, which designates the western half as mixed residential neighborhoods and the eastern half as single-family neighborhoods. We have also incorporated 36 acres of open space into this project. This is nearly 48% of the total site area, which is nearly double of what the UDO requires at 25%. The open space includes approximately 4 acres of programmed open space. That includes the main amenity area with a pool and cabana, as well as a nature play area, 2 dog parks, a picnic shelter, fitness centers, and a nature trail and boardwalk. This project will also construct 2 roads on the town's transportation plan. This includes the extension of Grassy Hills Lane from the street stub to the south, up north to Wade Nash Road, as well as an east-west connector with stub streets to the west and east. So in addition to working with staff over the past few months, we have worked with the neighbors, particularly the neighbors to the south in the Mackenzie subdivision. We did have 2 neighborhood meetings for this project, and the main point of discussion at those meetings was the extension of Grassy Hills Lane, which was constructed up to a stub into this property when it was originally constructed with the Mackenzie subdivision. We knew going in that this was going to be a point of contention. Anytime you connect to an established neighborhood, it does create some natural tension there. So once we explained that this was going to be a requirement of regardless of what is built here, because it is a town requirement, we were able to identify a few specific concerns that we were able to address. This included reducing traffic speeds as it enters the Mackenzie subdivision, reducing cut-through traffic, and increasing the buffers along that southern property line. I'll be very quick
Can I
here.
ask you to wrap up that thought, please, sir?
Yes. So the first change was we realigned the main intersection in the middle of the property, included traffic calming devices there to slow down traffic. We increased the buffers substantially.
You're in support of it, right?
What's that?
You said you're in support of it?
Yes, I represent the applicant.
Thank
Yeah.
you for your comments, sir. Your time is up, but thank you for your comments.
All right. Our entire team is here to answer any questions.
Okay. Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of the zoning map amendment? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the zoning map amendment?
Good evening, Board, Mr. Mayor. I am Vince Gamondi. I live in the subdivision to the south of the proposed planned unit development. My property borders on Basil Creek, which is in the extreme southeastern corner of the property. 2 concerns, and I really represent the 90 homeowners in our neighborhood, is the Stubb Street extension. We've been a neighborhood since 2001. That Stubb Street went in 2005. We've had several emergencies, and I understand that part of the Stubb Street is to accommodate safety concerns, ingress, egress into the neighborhood. But that comes at a cost of changing the character of the neighborhood, which is a closed neighborhood. There's only one way in, one way out. We don't have any cross traffic in the neighborhood. So opening up that stub street to basically make it a thoroughfare from Wade Nash on to Spence Farm Road, I feel, and our neighborhood feels, would change the nature of our development from a closed development to more through traffic. And we have a lot of small children that are particularly in the Grassy Hills area and down on Old Mackenzie Road. So that's one concern and one reason that I'm opposed. And again, I represent the majority of the homeowners in our 90-home neighborhood. Secondly, along Basil Creek, there's a lot of wildlife. We have red fox, we have wild turkey, we have deer, we have beaver. And I'm very concerned because, again, that affects the quality of life and the feel of our neighborhood, because we have all kinds of wildlife in our neighborhood, and people move there because of that reason. With the bridge going across Basil Creek, there's concern if the Department of Natural and Environmental Resources has done an impact study on what would happen when that bridge has to go over the creek and how would it affect the wildlife in that area. So there are two concerns that I would like to express to the board tonight, and so that the board would be able to consider those in any land use plan and development plan for this plan unit development. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Sir, please sign in on that sheet if you don't mind for the deputy clerk. Does anyone else wish to speak in opposition to the zoning map amendment? Okay, the hearing is now closed. Moving to board discussion. Matt, some of these questions may be for you, engineer related, or Pam, either one of you, so whoever thinks best to address them, I appreciate that. We do hear often on subdivisions about stub streets. I know new developments that are built today have stub streets put in on them, and existing ones have stub streets put in them. Why are stub streets put in?
So the intention of every substreet is for it to be connected when the adjacent property is developed. If it's not intended to be connected, it's called cul-de-sac is installed.
So anything with a stub street in Wake County expects to have a road connected to it to adjoining property, and that piece of property connected to the road.
Yes.
And is Fuquay-Varina unique, the only town that requires stub streets to be connected?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Everybody else does. A comment was made in regards to wetland impacts through there. Matt, often the Corps and engineers and different state agencies are involved on those. Are they not required to be involved in on this one?
They absolutely, excuse me, they absolutely are. They have to get their DEQ permits and their 401 and 404 permits from the Army Corps with any kind of wetland impacts.
So nobody can just go put a road in and do whatever they want to. They have to follow state guidelines and then the town.
That's correct. And oftentimes the Army Corps will deny permits if the stub doesn't serve a purpose and need. But this serves a purpose and need because it connects to another subdivision.
Okay. In regards to traffic flow, honestly, in my mind, I think of this as one, life safety has an entrance to get there, two ways into a neighborhood right there. In my opinion, we have a fire station, a brand new fire station built around the corner, and any development in that area, we want to be looped in interconnectivity as much as possible to allow the fire department or police department to be able to get through there. Will this help the fire department be able to reach there by having another access? That might be a chief's question, actually, but.
It is right down the road, yeah.
Okay.
And actually, a traffic impact analysis is required with preliminary plan. This development group actually did it early and has already submitted that. So their traffic engineer is here tonight and is prepared to answer any questions related to the results of that analysis.
So I can ask my next question on that analysis, and you may defer or you may answer, so that's up to y'all right there. Traffic that's flowing through there, is traffic flowing? I would think of a new stub out road. If the development's on the front side, the new residents will be going out on Wade Nash Road, and the existing ones back there will be likely cutting through the new neighborhood for the direction of flow.
the distribution of traffic is part of the traffic impact analysis. And so the TIA would actually show you where those trips are going. So maybe the engineer that performed the TIA could tell you about the distributions of traffic out of the subdivision.
I think that'd be a good question to answer right there. And if you'll point out who that needs to be.
Good evening. My name is Andrew Topp. I'm a traffic engineer with firm VHB. Our firm prepared the traffic impact study. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I'll tackle that first one about the trip distribution first, if that works. Yeah, we assumed about 20% that would exit this development to the south. The second, that new stub out would form a new connection to the south. That would provide a route towards coming to this part of the town. And 80% of the traffic was assumed to be distributed to the north.
So, I'm not an engineer, I'm just an accountant at the end of the day. That's what my degree is in. So you're saying 80% of all traffic you believe will go northbound
Yes,
through
sir.
the existing neighborhood? Maybe 20% of traffic would go southbound through the existing neighborhood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understood that. Okay, thank you, sir. And there may be somebody else in a moment has questions for you too, so don't run out the door. Next question, Pam. We just had a budget discussion earlier about parks and open space and land in town, and as you heard the budget discussion right there, and I heard the number 48% was used for open space right here, and 25% was all that was required. You mentioned some common space type activities that were there. Can you tell me what those were again?
Yes. So there's two things going on. One is in the open space areas, there's actually 5% or 3.74 acres of activated common green. That's a requirement. And that is going to include amenities like walking trails, boardwalks, a dog park, nature trails, a nature play area, picnic shelter, benches, and exercise stations. In addition to that, you can see that kind of purplish up in the top corner. That actually is going to be a pool and cabana. That does not count towards their activated open space. That's actually technically in their secondary open space. So that's in addition to that 5% that they had to activate.
So the idea behind the LDO and what goes on here is that there's lots of open space within the neighborhood, which hopefully in turn will bring on less resources in our parks and recreation system for general parks by opening some here.
It's definitely complementary for sure.
I heard you name several things that we have in our public parks at places, so maybe this will help relieve some of Jonathan's locations at the same time.
In addition to that, the primary open space includes all those sensitive environmental features, the wetlands, the streams, buffers, and things like that, that are not primarily developable. So those will be preserved.
I heard you mention, or maybe the petitioner mentioned, that y'all had spent a lot of time working through here. You spend a lot of time reviewing plans, and you bringing it here tonight with the board with a recommendation on it. I know that you spent a lot of time evaluating this plan right here, and so you like this plan? You feel like it's a good plan?
We've worked hard to make sure this meets both the intent of the LDO standards, the PUD standards, as well as the land use plan for the various different designations of uses. So we think that this gives a lot to the citizens and would be a very unique development.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments from board members for staff or anybody else?
Just curious where the road, grassland or grassy, is it Grassy Hills?
Grassy Mills, yeah.
The existing meets the new. Is there any kind of calming device or anything between the two neighborhoods?
No, not at this time. I mean, some of the essence is they're going to put just a couple of larger lots down there. So the intensity of the uses on the southern portion. There is a zoning condition also that road will be barricaded until it is actually dedicated to the town or required for emergency services. So that bonus is the construction traffic while the infrastructure is being installed will be limited to just the northern portions. You want to speak to?
You said that will help to limit the construction traffic from being able to access it that way, correct?
Yeah, so they'll be barricaded off until the public road is dedicated. Another bonus that Matt can talk to also is that there's on-street parking on the northern section of that, which will significantly also limit traffic up and down.
I just had a question for information.
Go ahead, Commissioner Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
when the public road is dedicated, in the language here, you have, the barricade should be removed when the road is dedicated to and accepted by the town of Fuquay-Varina, or when deemed necessary to be removed in order to ensure access to emergency services. What is that time frame between the dedication and the actual removal of the barricade? Is there a consistent time frame, or is that just sort of left to conditions?
And so typically in practice right now, when a road is dedicated,
Yeah.
that means that the developer can start building lots. And so it's essential for our fire and our police to be able to have access down, through our public roads. And so when we dedicate a road and we plat a subdivision, we remove the barricades just as soon as it gets platted.
Just as soon as it gets platted?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Just want to make sure, the roads in the McKenzie subdivision, they are DOT roads and DOT maintained?
I believe so. That's a county subdivision.
Because the only time I can remember that we ever did not require a connection was when they were private roads.
That is public right of way.
You said it is public right away? Any other questions or comments from board members? If not, we'll entertain a motion. Is there a recommended motion so moved, or a substitute motion anybody wants to make? A different motion?
Mr. Mayor, just looking at the proposed master plan, I think the neighborhood, I like it. I like that there's a mix of housing between the single family and the townhomes. I like the amount of open space. I like the fact that it looks like they intentionally, with the connection to McKenzie, tried to keep a lot of the open space and put a few larger lots there. I can understand why we've had this many times before, and I understand that people don't like the fact that when a neighborhood gets developed next door, just assume it not tie in. But that's what the stub was put there for. And it's on the transportation plan, I believe, to have this road go across. Some of the folks in McKenzie will probably go out this way. So, I don't think it's gonna be a big change to the existing neighborhood. So overall, I feel like it's a good plan, and I can support it as presented. And trying to pull the motion up. I'll just read it. I'll make a motion to approve REZ 2023-11, a zoning map amendment for 5301, 5441, 0, and a portion of 5328 Wade Nash Road from the residential agricultural zoning district to the planned unit development zoning district, that it is reasonable and in the best interest of the public for the reasons identified by management and staff.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next public hearing, item 7C, zoning map amendment, Rudy Upton, RCU LLC, 109 South Inner Street, REZ-2024-04. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Planning Director Davison. Pam, you're not done yet.
I'm not done. I'm submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official records of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider a requested zoning map amendment for a total of .48 acres located at 109 South Ennis Street from the residential low-density RLD zoning district to the town center residential TCR zoning district. The petitioner has effectively limited the permitted uses at the subject property and has requested several conditions, including the preservation of 2 existing heritage trees. At the Planning Board meeting on April 15th, 2024, conditions 12 and 13 were voluntarily added to the petition. The Planning Board voted unanimously to recommend approval. The suggested motion tonight is to approve REZ 2024-04, a zoning map amendment at 109 South Ennis Street from the residential low-density zoning district to the town center residential zoning district, as it is reasonable in the best interest of the public for the reasons identified by management and staff. I am available to answer any questions.
I don't think I have any questions yet. Thank you, Director Davidson. The hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the zoning map amendment? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the zoning map amendment? Hearing is now closed. Any discussion by the board? If not, what is the pleasure of the board?
I just wanted to ask, on the plat that's given to us, it shows a couple of trees on the plat. Is that,
Yes, those were the two existing trees that were identified to be preserved.
okay. They're showing on there as being preserved. Was that something that the town required of the?
It was not. No, it was something that was volunteered. It was something that was brought up just prior to the planning board meeting, and the applicant offered to preserve them.
Director Davidson, you're telling me it's not true that developers just cut down every single tree?
Maybe not.
Thank you, sir. Good point, Charlie. Any other comments or discussion or direction of the board?
Information. Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve REZ-2024-04, a zoning map amendment at 109 South Ennis Street, as presented and recommended by staff.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Consent agenda. What's the board's pleasure on the items on the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I make the motion to approve consent agendas at items 8A, 8B, 8C, 8D, 8E, 8F, 8G, 8H, 8I, 8J, 8K.
Second.
So a motion and a second for all the items?
Yes, sir.
All right. Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Items removed from consent agenda. Administrative report. First administrative report, item 10A, preliminary subdivision plat, Betts Farm subdivision, SUB PR-2022-03. Director Davidson.
Last one tonight. I am submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official records of the town. Betts Farm is located at 513 Coley Farm Road on 52.9 acres, 98 acres, in the residential medium density conditional zoning district. Annexation petition ANX 2024-04 has also been submitted for the property. The preliminary subdivision plat proposes 94 single-family lots meeting the standards for an open space subdivision. The minimum lot size permitted is 7,000 square feet, and the minimum lot size provided is 7,100 square feet, with the average lot size being 8,665 square feet. Following the 18% open space requirements for subdivision developments, a minimum of 9.54 acres of overall open space with 5% or 1.91 acres of activated common green is required. There are 53% or 27.99 acres of overall open space with 3.25 acres of common green provided. Public water and sewer are available to serve this development. At the April 15th, 2024 regular meeting, the Planning Board found the subdivision plat consistent with the town requirements and voted unanimously to recommend approval. The motion tonight is to approve the Betts Farm subdivision plat SUB PR 2022-03 as presented and recommended. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions, board members?
How does the, I can't remember if we call it the Western Parkway, how does that connect with this proposed development?
So it is just to the west of this property. That portion was actually subdivided prior to this submittal and is not part of this piece of property.
Okay. So they will not be.
No, they have this, they provide a stub to the future parkway, but that parkway is not on this property.
I got you. Thank you.
Any other questions from board members? Not, we'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move we recommend approval of the Betts Farm subdivision plat, subdivision PR 2022-03 as presented and recommended.
We got a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, 10B, Developer Construction Agreement, FV Retail LLC in Town of Fuquay-Varina. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Assistant Town Manager Seymour.
And Mr. Mayor, due to financial interest, I would appreciate if the board would allow me to recuse myself from this item.
Okay, all right, makes sense to me. We entertain a motion to recuse Commissioner Adcock.
I move that we recuse Commissioner Adcock.
We got a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, Assistant Town Manager Seymour. Jimmy,
Mayor, Board, good evening. Good to see you. So the purpose of this agenda item is to consider approval of an agreement between the Town of Fuquay-Varina and FV Retail LLC. FV Retail LLC are, of course, the developers for the Gold Leaf Crossing commercial project. As part of that project and part of the infrastructure is the construction of Wallace Adcock Boulevard, which will extend from Highway 401 to 42 through the site. Now, and part of the Wallace Adcock Boulevard construction includes the construction of a new at-grade railroad crossing. As you can see here on this map, highlighted in yellow, you see the Norfolk Southern Rail Line, which is, again, Norfolk Southern, but it is operated by R.J. Corman. And previously, in the consent agenda, the town board just approved a construction agreement between the town of Fuquay-Varina and the railroad company to do the actual rail at-grade crossing construction. Again, the developer will build, FE Retail will build Wallace Adcock Boulevard, and then the railroad company will build the actual at-grade crossing and install the signalization, the warning system. The developer will build the approaches and roadway to the at-grade crossing. So this agreement, the developer construction agreement I'm presenting to you now, is an agreement between the town and FE Retail where, again, the town is not the developer for this project. It is FE Retail, and so FE Retail will perform and pay for all the work associated with the rail crossing. Although the railroad company builds it, the developer will pay for it. And again, the agreement, although the agreement is between the town and the railroad, the developer will be paying for and performing all the town's obligations on our behalf because they are the site developer, the project developer. So again, this agreement just outlays that. And so also, in addition to that, because the town has a incentive agreement with the retail, FE Retail, as part of the development agreement, roadway infrastructure projects can be reimbursed. So as the railroad is constructed, the railroad crossing is constructed, the developer will pay for it, and after that is paid for, the developer will submit to the town for reimbursement under the development agreement economic development incentive that we approved in 2020 and then updated in 2023. So the motion before the board tonight is to approve the proposed developer construction agreement between FV Retail LLC and the town of Fuquay-Varina as presented and recommended.
Have any questions or comments for board members? Questions for staff?
Let me get this straight. Just questions.
Go ahead, Commissioner Harris.
So the railroad has agreed to fund the crossing according to their standards.
They have agreed to build it to their, yes, sir.
Build it. They're going to build it.
Yes, sir.
And who's going to pay for it again?
The developer.
The developer is going to pay for it.
Yes. And then we are going to reimburse the developer as part of our economic development incentive agreement that we did back in 2020 and 2023.
Okay, at no expense from the railroad perspective.
Correct.
Okay.
And the street will become a public street.
Okay. All right. I just want to be clear how that's going to work.
Yes, sir.
Any further questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Massingill, I move that we approve the proposed developer construction agreement between FV Retail LLC and the town of Fuquay-Varina as presented and recommended.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda, other business, town manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Do have a few items to brief the board on this evening, just as an update since our last meeting. We have finally, I want to congratulate Chris Hennett. We have finally filled the commercial plans examiner position within our department. We've had a vacancy there, certainly a specialized position, and is not one that is easily recruited. So that vacancy has finally been filled from a promotion within our organization. Chris Thompson, he previously has filled the position of a residential plans examiner, and his position has since been refilled as well. So we're back fully staffed in the inspections department, and we do have a commercial plans examiner. I want to thank Chris for his dedication to continuing working to find a solution to that, especially as we have a what's expected to be a tremendous amount of commercial development occurring in our community in the next many years. So I want to recognize Chris Hennett and Chris Thompson, as well as Scott Musselman, who's going to be our new residential plans examiner to fill that position. Randy Zepeda was promoted to wastewater treatment plant operator 1, and we will be working to backfill his position in public utilities. Congratulate him on that promotion. Christy Familore started today as our new downtown development manager, and we'll be working to find an opportunity for her to meet with all the town board members moving forward, but very excited about having Christy on board to continue the great work that's happening in our downtown and the initiatives that we have there. The new yard debris form is working well, and it's been used twice now with no major issues on our website, so we think we've done a good job of streamlining that and getting that out to our citizens. We recently received donations for our police department and our fire department from the Lions Club, each of $500 to support their respective community engagement programs. So we want to thank the Lions Club for those donations, and we'll be recognizing them as a part of a budget amendment at a future town board agenda. Since our last meeting, just a few additional updates. We've been seeing a tremendous amount of interest in many of our open positions that we're advertising for. Just one position, for example, received over, I think, 160 applicants for one position, sort of an administrative support staff position in our fire department. So a lot of interest in working for the town of Fuquay-Varina. We've become well known as a organization that provides an excellent work environment for our employees. So we're seeing good things there. Our HR department is actively out and involved in the recruitment process. In fact, they attended a trades fair since our last board meeting to try to get some exposure to a good bit of our water and sewer and public utilities, public works positions that we have within our organization. And that was held at Willow Spring High School, the trades fair was. So getting exposure to high school kids is important because college isn't for everyone, and there's good opportunities here in this organization for those that are interested in the trades. We do have our employee spring picnic this Wednesday, I believe, May 9th, or Thursday, it's May 9th, I know that much, Wednesday or Thursday. So we will be closed from 11 to 2 in our offices, and we're posting that on our social media as is customary with our 2-time-a-year employee luncheons. And we will have our service award banquet for employees that have met certain service years of service recognitions. That'll be on May 30th. So I think invitations have been out on your calendars for that, but if not, we'll make sure they get out to board members here shortly. I want to congratulate Josh Jurius in our planning department and his wife. They welcomed their baby Catherine last week, and so healthy mom, healthy baby. We want to congratulate him and his wife on the birth of their new child. We have 4 projects that are in our transportation list of projects that are getting close to construction authorization. So we're excited about getting some additional projects under construction. We've got several right now that are in the works, but we'll have more in the not-so-distant future. They're going through right-of-way certification and DOT authorization. And our paving contract for annual paving is out to bid, so we'll be looking forward to seeing what kind of bids we get on that here in the coming weeks. We've also had 4 new firefighters start since our last meeting, so we're now fully staffed in our fire department, which we're excited about as well. We will be embarking on a website refresh. Every few years, we do a refresh of our town website, and so Susan and Scott and our IT department, all of our departments really will have involvement in the refresh of our town website. We're also working closer to implementation of social districts. Tiffany has been hard at work on getting the requirements prepared for social districts to implement, and we hope to have an update on that in terms of a definitive date here pretty soon. We're thinking the latter part of May we'll have it in place. Let's see, what else I need to mention to you. Our police department storage building is expected to start construction on May 20th, and it will take approximately 6 months or less for the construction of that facility. So you'll see some activity out at the police department campus here shortly, construction activity. We're having to re-advertise the town hall window replacement project. We received 2 bids for that. However, neither of which were complete, so we're having to go back to the drawing board on that. I want to remind you as board members that we've got a retirement reception for our longstanding town clerk, Rose Rich, on May 23rd. So if you're able to attend that, I know she would absolutely appreciate that. Since our last board meeting as well, I, along with Mark, attended the Wake County Municipal Managers Luncheon. There were a number of topics discussed, including the county's opioid settlement plans, as well as fiscal year budgets were discussed amongst the managers for the various communities here in Wake County, and what those plans are looking like. We have also had a coffee chat with the Triangle Community Coalition. I say we, Development Services, Management and Development Services team met with a large group of developers with the Triangle Community, developers, realtors, engineers, architects that are members of the Triangle Community Coalition to talk about town's growth plans and how we can continue to work together as the town continues to grow and develop. We're working through an agreement right now with the town of Holly Springs on the logistics for the linkage of Alston Ridge Greenway and Bass Lake Park as that project continues to advance forward and make progress. And we've had considerable discussion and meetings with the Wake County Public School System staff about logistics related to wastewater and the opening of our community center and their Hilltop Needmore Elementary School. I'm not sure to what degree you are aware, but Wake County has plans to actually shift Fuquay-Varina Elementary School for a little over a year, or roughly a year, to Hilltop Needmore Elementary School while they do a renovation of Fuquay-Varina Elementary School, which includes internal stacking for vehicles on their site, which will be a huge improvement because, as you know, we've got some traffic congestion issues during peak hours on Johnson Pond Road, and their plans are to address that along with building renovations for Fuquay-Varina Elementary School. So not only are we getting a brand new Hilltop Needmore Elementary School, but as a part of this package, we're going to get a revamp of Fuquay-Varina Elementary School. But those students will move over for a year and a half while those improvements are made at Fuquay-Varina Elementary School. Then they'll move back, and then they'll begin to populate Fuquay-Varina Elementary or Hilltop Needmore Elementary School with those students. We've run into some challenges with part of our agreement with Wake County is that we provide the water, they provide the wastewater service. Because of the way that schedules are working out, we've run into some challenges, but we're working through those through our discussions in partnership with Wake County Public Schools. So I want to just recognize that we've spent a considerable amount of time, but I think we found a solution for how we're going to handle that in the interim while we're waiting for them to get the permanent sewer solution in place. With that said, I would also just note on your agenda, we did provide for your information the quarterly report that's got a number of metrics on how we are tracking thus far this fiscal year. So familiarize yourself with that when you get an opportunity. Our police department will be hosting the Cops on Top event for Special Olympics fundraising. This will be on Friday, May 10th at 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. at both Dunkin' Donuts locations. And I'll refrain from making any other statements related to police and donuts, but they're trying to raise money for Special Olympics.
And then they call them power rings now.
Power rings, that's exactly right. We do have the Breakfast Club. If you like 80s music, the Breakfast Club is going to be performing at Follow Me to Fuquay-Varina concert Thursday, May 16th. An 80s band. And so if you like 80s music, the 80s genre, you'll love this show. So encourage everyone, including the public, to come out for that. And then the police department will host another Special Olympics fundraiser, the Law Enforcement Torch Run. They do this every year. This will be on Tuesday, May 28th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. It starts at Abbey Road parking lot on Main Street, and it will end at the Apex Police Department on Saunders Street in Apex. So a pretty long run, and will bring a lot of awareness and recognition to law enforcement and also to Special Olympics, great cause that our police departments have been involved in. I'd like to take just a brief moment. Scott Clark, our IT director, and I believe Patrick Petty, in our IT department, are going to give the town board a brief demo of the project management dashboard to make sure that you can now access in real time where projects are from the standpoint of their progression. So Scott, I'll turn it over to you to give this demo to the board real quick. We'll kind of be talking you through it so you can kind of move through it on your iPads. And then if you have any questions following this meeting or need a little bit of a refresher, we'll be able to provide that to you as well. So Scott?
All right, good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So we're going to do a quick run through, and I know if you have any questions, just give me a call and we can walk you through it. But this Smart Sheet system, well, our project management solution is designed off of a product called Smart Sheet. It is actually designed for departments in the back end to be detailed, as detailed as they would like, to track the progress of their projects, and provide dashboards to management, to directors, management, and the board members to see the progress of that. Instead of a old project status report was updated once a month and it was all text-based, now you'll be able to have a dashboard, so you'll kind of have more of a graphical view of it, and I'll kind of show you how to get that. So today we pushed out the Smart Sheet app on everybody's iPads. Patrick is setting up the final users right now. So you'll just open up the Smart Sheet app, and then basically what you'll come to is you'll come to the home page that you see on your screen here. And then I have went ahead and favorited the board dashboard on everyone's accounts. So if you click that, give it just a few to load. It's loading all the real-time data from all the projects right now. And what you'll see is you'll see a list of departments right here. We have departments in alphabetical order. Some of these top two departments don't have projects that are loaded right yet, but I can tell you that communications actually has the website project. We just have not put timelines there. But once we do that, it will be updated in real time. If anybody has any questions, Patrick, if you can just see if they can, you can help them out. So what I'll do is once you see a project, here's a list of the engineering projects. If you want to see information on individual projects in the engineering department, you would click this, the engineering dashboard, the icon engineering, and this will show you all the current engineering projects. And we're going to select the first one, Wallace Adcock Boulevard. And this is pretty much a standard engineering construction style dashboard. You'll have the current percent complete on the actual task and stages of the project, a project summary. That is pretty much what the project is while we're doing this project. The project status summary is actually updates to the timeline. Unfortunately, timelines get pushed back, things change in the project. When there's significant changes in the project, the departments will come in here and update this project status summaries so you can have a really quick idea of what changed in the project. If you scroll down, we do have on this, we do have a map that displays the project area. And also we have project timeline, construction schedule on this one is a construction estimate. I'm going to show you another project that actually has a more detailed construction schedule. So to get out of this, all you do is click the X up here at the top left, and then I'm going to show you one more construction project that engineering has done. This is the 4 South Judd Main intersection improvements, and as you see, this is actually gives you a project timeline summary as the overall project summary of the timeline. It's the summary timeline, and then you actually have the construction schedule, and it's broken down into different phases. So this is kind of a construction schedule, construction type project, road construction project. I'm going to go back to my department and actually show you what it looks like for a normal town-related project that doesn't have construction schedules or DOT reviews or whatnot. So we'll come here, and now I'll show you just one project in the IT department. This is actually a project that we're working with utilities on, but this is a GIS-led service line inventory. This explains why we're doing this to figure out if we have any lead pipes in the town and identify those and have a plan to service them. But this is the overall project, and it shows you the project milestones that we have done, and this shows you that this project is on task and has a duration of 577 days. If you saw that on the other projects, it shows you the duration, and then actually the start and finish, and those start and finish dates are actually as the timelines are updated. So I know this was real quick. I threw a lot at you. Does anybody have any questions?
I think you've done a great job, Scott, on this, and the plus the colored graphics, and make it so easy to read and understand where projects are on this. And I know often I get asked questions from the public all the time on status of things, and often, transportation, we can go to drivefv.org and websites like that, but this is one that any board member can easily have an answer to be able to tell somebody quickly and not have to necessarily go to Adam with a direct department versus at your fingertips. So thank you.
And this is kind of we're just scratching the surface of the capabilities of this. We'll be adding more and more features going on down the road, and we're using this same platform to do a lot of workflow automation in the organization. So if you have any questions as you're going through the projects, give me a call, management a call, and we can help you out.
And Mr. Mayor, I think you hit it on the head. Instead of waiting a month for a project status report, or being delayed in getting information due to a phone call, which you're certainly always welcome to do, this provides you another avenue to have this information in real time at your fingertips.
Yep. I love how you picked on Matt too when you said, let me share a project that happens. You're talking about having to deal with DOT, so I'm sure Matt appreciated that.
Mr. Mayor, I would say thank you for saying that, because our departments have worked hard to make sure that this information is, populated and updated for tonight and rolled out. They've worked hard to try to provide up-to-date, good, real-time information so that you'll have it ready. And as these projects continue to advance and progress, this information will be updated in real time.
Thank you,
All right.
Scott.
Thank you.
Very good.
With that, Mr. Mayor, I don't have any additional comments or anything to report from management. I'm happy to answer any questions that you or the board might have. Otherwise, that concludes my remarks for this evening.
Thank you, Manager. And I do know we have closed session for after we do board member comments.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Harris, any comments?
Just a few comments, Mr. Mayor. First, I apologize for not attending the budget meeting, but April the 22nd through the 25th, I was at the North Carolina League of Municipalities Conference as their president. My tenure as president ended on April the 25th. But I must say that as president of the league, it was such a very, just a highlight as far as my time in public service. I really, really appreciated the opportunity to serve in that capacity and to advocate for cities and towns throughout North Carolina, and especially Fuquay-Varina. Just a few highlights that occurred last year. I think I was sworn in on April 27th of last year. 2 weeks later, I was at the U.S. Capitol speaking about railway safety, something that I never imagined myself doing. And then the other highlight is that the country of Moldova was invited to come to Fuquay-Varina, and we hosted the delegation from Moldova. The other thing is that the league is very, very committed to promoting collaboration and teaching and training and being an advocate for towns and cities. There were over 600 attendees at the conference last year. And I'd just like to take this time to thank, and I did this in my closing remarks, the management and staff here in Fuquay-Varina for your help and your assistance over my tenure, as well as prior administrations who supported my attending the conferences over the years. I'd like to thank Commissioner Haynes for attending and being supportive, as well as our town manager. And during my initial comment, the entire board came, which I really appreciated, the mayor and commissioners. I didn't take anything for granted. So I really, really want to say thank you very much. I really appreciate the support from the town of Fuquay-Varina. I'll tell you one thing, I was presiding, and we were in Winston-Salem for the last session, and I opened the session by saying that, well, we're here at the second best twin city in North Carolina. And everybody laughed because there are only two twin cities, which is Fuquay-Varina and Winston-Salem. So I really advocated for Fuquay-Varina. I wanted to make sure that even at the federal level, that people know that we existed. And one of the essence of what I learned over my time, as far as going to Washington, meeting with the North Carolina delegation from both members of the aisle, is that at the core of what we're all about, those of us who are in public service, I think our commitment to what we have in common outweigh our differences. And I think that that's going to be the thing that keeps us as a community, as a state, as a country together when we look at those core values upon which this country was founded. And that's one of the highlights that I will take away from my experiences as far as going to the Capitol, going throughout the state and talking with different mayors and council men and women throughout the state, as well as at the federal level, congressmen and women, that everybody has a sincere desire to want to do what is best for this country. And I think that that's going to be the glue that continues to hold us together. So again, I just want to thank you all so very much. Thank you.
Bill, congratulations. Thank you for taking your time.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Commissioner Adcock. Any comments?
I was just gonna follow up on the budget. You know, the budget is something that we want to have the public be involved in, and for the most part, it's a lot of boring information. And so I appreciate the town trying to do the video to get it out, and hopefully a way that the citizens will be engaged. And I'm interested to see what kind of feedback we do get. But I always appreciate what this town is doing to try to be, you know, kind of on the cutting edge of communicating with our citizens. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Adcock. Commissioner Haynes, any comments?
Just a few, Mr. Mayor. First, I just want to, congratulate all of our college graduates that are in our town who are graduating over these next few weeks for their accomplishments. I've been seeing them all over Facebook, so congratulations to each and every one of them. I definitely was excited to see the teen council. I definitely thank management and staff and Parks and Rec for jumping in on this venture when I brought it back to the town. When I saw those teen councils at the North Carolina League, well, at the National League of Cities, having 20, 30 youth at those big conferences, and they jumped on it, and I just definitely thank each and every one of y'all for doing that. And to see the kids actually want to do it is just amazing. So I'm definitely excited about that. Another thing is, I'm always excited because I always have two celebrities when I go to the North Carolina League of Municipalities. We have our Commissioner Harris, who's now the immediate past, present, and then we have our town manager. And those are celebrities in the state level of North Carolina, because I get asked before our town manager made it, I got asked probably 20 times, is Adam coming? Is Adam coming? I said, yes, he's on the way. So it's exciting just to see that Fuquay-Varina is seen so highly at the state level from so many of our peers all over the state, from town managers, the people you've worked with, and both of you worked there throughout the years. It's a busy time in Fuquay. It's almost, we all trying to run around to get up to all these events that are going on in the town of Fuquay-Varina for the next few months, but it's just exciting to see so much going on through all our different departments, as well as all the other organizations all around town. And definitely follow me. The Fuquay concerts have been amazing and well attended, and food has been good, and people have had a great time. I've heard nothing but rave reviews about all of the bands so far. So, thank you all for all you do on a daily basis to make our job a lot easier and to make this quality of life for town of Fuquay-Varina better. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Haynes. Mayor Pro Tem Gardner, any comments?
Just congratulations to Commissioner Harris for this service, this opportunity he's had to represent us and the rest of the state.
Thank you.
With the league, and he spent a lot of time over the years exploring those connections and attending a lot of those meetings on the national and state level, and it really, I'm sure, paid off in his leadership for this year. We thank you for that.
Thank you.
And are glad that it went well for you.
Thank you.
We're proud of you.
Thank you.
I really have enjoyed the concert series. I had to miss one of them, but the Embers did not disappoint when they rescheduled and came on a Wednesday night instead. That was a really fun night this last week. So the spring concerts have been nice, and we still have one more to look forward to. So it's really good. And we're excited about the new person in place to lead Fuquay-Varina downtown. I can't wait to meet her.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
And I'm playing air. I forgot about that. Ooh, that was fun too. The stuff going on this weekend with the corral, it just is a big, and the museums had a great day, Heritage Day on Saturday. Just so much going on in this town and so much energy. And I love that energy we had in here tonight with all those teenagers. I kind of hated to see them go. It just, the energy level just went when they left.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Budget video that was mentioned earlier, I know y'all did a lot of work on that, putting together the budget to present tonight, to schedule the public hearing, and we're always trying to get information out to our citizens that get it in different ways. And a lot of people are not gonna read a 500-page document, but they'll watch a video to get an overview of things. So good work on all y'all that worked on that. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry if I can. I forgot, and you brought it up, so you reminded me. I forgot to mention Susan on that hard work on the video. Finance department did a great job, but Susan was very instrumental in helping get that video
straight at her
yeah.
right there
So
about
thank you for saying that, because that helped me not get in trouble with her tomorrow.
She did a great job, and that's what we're always trying to do, is get information out there to all of our citizens. Since we met last, we did have Earth Day, and Secretary of Department of Environmental Quality Visor came to Lincoln Heights Elementary School for Earth Day, and the kids really did a good job of presenting that, and it was a great turnout there, so appreciate her being here in Fuquay-Varina. First Responders Lunch last week, I think we touched on that. It was greatly attended, a lot of support here, and that's what I spoke about that night, a lot of support for our fire department and our police department, and thank y'all all for all of your employees of your departments coming there, and anyone that came to support it. And it was a great turnout, and what I'll tell everybody tonight, same thing I told them that day, is that Fuquay-Varina is the #1 safest place in North Carolina due to your two departments right there. And as you see, you have a lot of support in our town. And so thank you both for everything right there. In Plain Air, just as Marilyn mentioned a moment ago, they said it exceeded budget on Saturday night on the auction, which is great. A lot of great artwork. And it was a good evening, and glad to keep doing that. And dinner on downtown is in 2 weeks. Is that right, Marilyn?
Yes.
Reminder of that, 2 weeks from this past Saturday, or this coming Saturday. Either way, it's sold out, so that's good. It's been a good event right here too on that. Adam, I know we do have a closed session, so we'll entertain a motion for closed session.
Yes, sir. Closed session is recommended pursuant to General Statute 143, 318, 11A, 3, attorney-client privilege, A4, economic development, A5, contracts, and A6, personnel.
We'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion second. Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. There we go. We'll clear the room and we'll go into it.